pronouns to cat, a clown singer, and, well, what do you think the B in LGBT stands for? Bird. These are an amazing set of starters, and from what I've seen, most people like them. The only complaint I've been seeing, however, is that they're a bit too humanoid, and that starter designs have become more humanoid over the years, and that this is bad, actually. But what if I told you that humanoid starters are good, actually, and that they actually play a huge role in the symbolism and theming of the connection between humans and Pokemon? But first, why do I hate it? When you see an old starter Pokemon, it looks more like any type of creature you would see out in the wild, just a member of its species and not locked in a set personality. Like Incineroar, it's always going to be a wrestler. Feraligatr, on the other hand, well, I mean, it can be a wrestler if it really wants to be. It's not weird to see a Pokemon like Swampert at a lake. Rillaboom though? Yeah, why aren't you at a parents-teachers conference? One important thing to consider, however, when are starter Pokemon ever found in the wild? They're not. Not really. They're always given exclusively to you, the player, to embark on their journey, and in a sense they represent the trainer and their journey. Besides, there's lots of Pokemon early game you can catch that are animalistic, and do stay that way, that do just live in the world that were shown. But starter Pokemon are hardly ever shown living in the wild. They don't seem to occur that naturally at all. Now, we don't know why, maybe it's human intervention or something else, but in Legends Arceus there is an exception because you can actually catch the modern Sinnoh trio there, who do have a theme, but it is secondary. Gen 4 was also the first starter set to have some sort of theme going on, so by pure coincidence, these being the only ones found in the wild, along with the game Legends Arceus representing humans and Pokemon slowly working together, connecting, yeah, honestly that's just super cool symbolism, guys. Rowlet, Cyndaquil, and Oshawott are also found, but exclusively in space-time distortions and massive mass outbreaks. These don't really seem to occur naturally, so there's definitely something supernatural going on with them. What is interesting about these new starters that we got in Legends Arceus is that it really shows how Game Freak's design process has changed over the years. Look at Typhlosion, for instance. It's a super cool Pokemon aesthetically. However, Johto fans, please don't beat me to death, it's kinda boring conceptually. It's just a big fire, bear, stout, badger, something. I mean, yeah, it looks cool, but it's basically, to me, just a super special animal. This was them pretty much redesigning it, and now it's got much more going for it as well. It looks a bit more complex and also more human with its expression. Dex entries too. Does a cool fire thing, something about flames, explosions. Yeah, it's very cool if you're 12, but then, boom, purify forsaken souls and guide them to the afterlife. That is some juicy lore. Much better than just raw, big fire animal does fire thing. If a starter looks like it can just be found anywhere in the wild, it loses its uniqueness. These Pokemon are by their very nature intertwined with humans, so yeah, they're gonna look like your dad. A Pokemon evolving from an awkward baby, to a moody teenager, to a grown realized adult, it represents you as a trainer, slowly learning the ropes of battling and getting better, but also you in real life because most of us grew up with Pokemon. You're growing together with your starter Pokemon, who is going to be your very first friend. So, of course they're going to be like you, they look up to you and they love you. Starter Pokemon just seem to love people the most out of all Pokemon. They're like dogs, they love you no matter what. They're humans' best friend. Starters represent the connection between humans and Pokemon, so they sort of look like a combination of both. It's just super cool symbolism, come on! Themes also play a huge role with that connection. With these three, I was like, ooh, what are their themes gonna be for the longest time? And it's Carnival. Somewhat. Here's a video that goes into much more detail about that, but starter themes will generally reflect on the region's inspired culture. While Skeledirge's design itself, aesthetically, isn't humanoid, conceptually it is, because it still sings and is inspired by human culture and participates in it. Also, starter Pokemon being humanoid isn't suddenly a thing now. I mean, yeah, it's been much faster ever since the games became 3D, because in 3D you can see the Pokemon from all angles, so they're specifically designed nowadays with 3D motion in mind, making them capable of expressing their unique personalities much better. Honestly, what I'm talking about at this point is just good character design. If you can tell what something is going to do from the way it's designed, that's good character design. I'm not saying that the previous starters didn't have good designs. I really like Feraligatr, for instance. They were great as a species design, but not as a character design in my opinion. When you see Meowscarada using Flower Trick, you know it's all about performing and catching the spotlight. Quaquaval just existing shows you that it loves dancing. Just look at all that movement, hot dang! And Skeledirge singing with the bird flying off its snout It's such a weird thing to see, but really hones in on that ghostly, mysterious vibe that I get from this Pokemon. Also, check out these animations. I didn't even realize they were in the game until I saw it on Twitter, but look at them. Look, it's the fun little magic trick, and the bird cleans the teeth, and the dance. Oh, it's so much fun, and honestly, fun is an important word I would use to describe these starters. The previous starters weren't fun, because they were all too samey looking. I mean, Rillaboom and Cinderace almost have the exact same body to me. They're both mammalian, they're both humanoid, one is big and one is skinny. And Inteleon was just a reptilian Cinderace! It's literally this meme! I think that unfortunately, these starters have had a really negative impact on how people view humanoid starters. Luckily, things have begun to shift around a bit now, though. Quadruped Crocodile, by the way, bless Game Freak for finally letting a fire starter stay on the ground for once. And we also have a bipedal mammal and a bird. I think the fact that they're all different species also helps with these starters, because if they're all in the same group of animals, it gets too samey. But this is so good, man. If only we could get an arthropod starter in the future sometime, that would probably make it my favorite starter set ever. Oh, and also look at the silhouettes of these Pokemon. They're so good. Rillaboom. So boring. It was just monkey pose in its official art. But look at the kitty. It's so expressive. Are you not entertained? God, I love it. And Quaquaville. Look at the shapes and negative space, and there's just so much going on. I love this fruity bird. Skeledirge, however, yeah, it's the weakest silhouette-wise, but the design very much makes up for it. Their dual typings also give them much more flair and pizzazz. Like, honestly, what was Game Freak thinking, not giving any of the Galarian starters a dual typing? It's just so mind-numbingly boring, because you take away such a big expression of these starters when you do that. Dual typings just add more complexity to the design, and starters should not be simple. I mean, it shouldn't be legendary complex, but not your regular wild Pokemon complex. There has to be a balance in there somewhere. Dark typing just adds a mysterious vibe to Meowscarada's Magician Act. Quaquaville dancing and moving a whole lot easily translates to fighting type, and Skeledirge's bird being a literal ghost along with the mysterious vibes that this Pokemon has, yeah, it's a ghost type. Meowscarada, cool mask, cloak, flower knack, little flower that it uses for magic tricks, and then Rillaboom's just a monkey with green hair. Quaquaville, hair that sticks out, the feathers on the arm, and of course the butt feathers. Just, again, a whole lot happening with this Pokemon. Inteleon, I mean, yeah, it's slick, but too thin. Nothing really stands out except the tail and the frills, and you can't even see the gloves or the pants with just a silhouette that well. Cinderace is my favorite of the Galarian starters, but honestly, it just cannot compare to Skeledirge's colorful palette, with the reds, the purples, the blacks, the white, the gorgeous fire that's like coming out of its mouth and then around its head, forming some sort of hairstyle on the back, and of course the bird. I mean, that's just so cool. I didn't mean to tear into these starters this much, but I truly believe that these were a major part of the reason why people just don't like humanoid starters, even when they're done really well. So I just wanted to break that down. Do all starter Pokemon need to be humanoid? Nah. But if they are going to be, they have to have some differences in how they look. Their shapes, their biology, their traits. Just not something like Gen 8 ever again. Sorry, Galar fans, though, you know, something being British is always an L on its own, isn't it?
British people be like, it's Tuesday, innit?
The Paldean starters are real solid designs, and definitely in my top 3 starter trio designs. I know the humanoid designs can feel a bit off sometimes in Pokemon, but I really like them when they're done well. They can be such a nice bridge between Pokemon, us the player, and even us in real life. Maybe you now have a different outlook on them? If not, that's alright too. We all got different things we like to see in Pokemon, and, you know, sometimes we just gravitate to other designs and we don't to others. But what do you think of the new starters? Which ones did you pick, and were you happy with the result? Do you love them? Do you hate them? Are they Let me know in the comment section down below. Let's get that algorithm going so that my YouTube channel doesn't die. And with that being said, I will see you all again on the flip turn.